fez. I wear a fez now. Fezzes are cool.
Okay, so just before I start this video, I'd just like to say that, as you can see, it's probably quite a long video. I mean, it's like 7 or 8 minutes. It's probably 8 minutes. If you want to watch, there's a lot of PKing clips in the background. If you don't want to watch, I'm more than happy just for you to minimize it and just listen. But if you could just not skip to the end, that would be good. Just, you know, listen to what I'm saying and minimize it. Carry on doing what you're doing. It's only 8 minutes, but it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so towards the end of the video, around 5.5 minutes, probably just before, I conducted a test using the AGS, the DDS, the Gmor and the Debo, just to find out what sort of the average hits are per spec. Obviously there are some variables here. One variable would be the percentage that it takes up. Some of them takes up more than others, i.e. Gmor takes up 100, Debo 65, DDS 25 and AGS 50. So obviously that does, you know, affect the results. Also, the DDS, the Debo and the Gmor were performed on a maxed pure. However, the AGS was an account with 88 strength and no fire cape. So you could add maybe 10 or slightly more of that to the overall total damage of the AGS specs. Okay, so results. I found out that the average AGS spec was 34.8. This, obviously, as I say, you can add to this because, you know, it was performed on an account with 88 strength with no fire cape, as opposed to the other ones that were in max gear. The DDS average, also 34.8, so the AGS and the DDS, exactly the same result. Pretty strange. And the Gmor, 49.2, obviously quite a bit lower than I expected, actually. But I did one hit the guy, and also did hit a 6, so that probably did, you know, level out, so that wasn't too bad. And the Debo average was 51.3, which really shocks me. Out of all of them weapons, Debo is the best. Also, and that's not when I have Void. Okay, so I did not have the 15% bonus, and it was the best spec weapon out of all of them, even bigger than Gmor in max strength. I think that shows quite a lot. Okay, I get asked this question so much, I'm just sort of interested on what other people's sort of idea about this is. So, Dragon Claws. Do you think Dragon Claws should come into the game? Personally, I think yes. It would add variety. It would add another spec weapon that you can use in the game. It would also add another 60 attack. There's not many 60 attack weapons. At the moment, you normally have, what, DDS? D-Long, if you're feeling that you can, you know, if you can kill anyone, like no one uses a D-Long. And it's also quite a good item that you're allowed to high risk with. There's not, other than AGS, there's not really a sort of middle tier priced item that people could high risk with. Like, with wrist fights at the moment, the only sort of thing you can do is like a Fury Robin or something like that. But if Claws were to come out, they used to be about half the price of AGS, and it was just quite a nice weapon that you could use. Like, if you didn't, if you didn't want to risk your bank, you can just sort of go, you know, half of that weapon, and it'd still be quite a nice item to risk. Okay, I know one of the main arguments for Claws not to come into the game is how overpowered they are. I will try and disprove that now. Firstly, okay, so how do you survive a Claw spec? There's one main thing that people used to do to survive a Claw spec. I know that some people do know this. I'm pretty sure most of you watching this video do know this. However, I'll just sort of clarify just for the people that might not know. There's an item called a Phoenix Necklace. What a Phoenix Necklace does is when your HP was less than 20%, it would heal your HP by 30% when this necklace was equipped. And when it was equipped, if this effect took place, then it would then shatter and you would lose the necklace. So when someone does a Claw spec, 4 numbers appear. The last number that appears is the number that kills you. This last number that appears is the lowest number out of these 4 numbers. Okay, normally it will be about 2 to 20 at the very, very max. Normally, a sort of an average number will be about 7 to 12, I would say, is the last number that will kill you. So putting 2 and 2 together, so survive a Claw spec, Obviously your HP will be less than that 20% threshold, because the last number would have to kill you, which would be like a 7 or something, which will require you to be 7 or less HP, which of course is less than 20%. So all you have to do is click your P-neck, and it heals you 30%, which normally take you to 30, and then you eat and cram around to your heart's content, and then you live the second spec. You know, that's what everyone did, and unless it was a good one tick, you wouldn't normally die unless it was a Rambo, or you just didn't know how to eat. Okay, how to survive a debo. There's one main thing you can do really, and that's literally just spam click all the food in your invent and hope that it doesn't spec you a big spec. Okay, I know that some people say that 60 attack requirement for claws is way too low. It should be higher, people say. People are saying, oh, it should be 80 attack or 75 attack or something. Okay, let's have a look at the debo requirement. 60 range. Let's have a look at the Dragon Dagger requirement. 60 attack. Let's have a look at the claws. 60 attack, okay? So, bearing in mind, the debo, the claws, and the Dragon Dagger, all probably the three most, or the three weapons in the game that own the max hits, all require 60 of that given stat, whether it be range or attack. I guess we can now move on to max hits. I'm going to read you out some max hits and just take into account how low the claw spec is compared to the other weapons. DDS max hit 84, AGS max hit either 82 or 80. I remember someone told me 82, and I'm pretty sure it was 82. However, in PvP it might be 80. Gmaul max hit 120-ish. I don't know. Obviously that's a 40-40-40. Debo max hit 95, claws max hit about 75. Okay, so claws was by far the lowest out of all of them. I just want to have a look at the Debo max hit. So Debo max is 95, which is the 47-48 Debo max hit. However, this is when you are in untradeable gear, so you can hit this. You can hit the max hit when PKing in very little risk, i.e. you're PKing in untradables, and when you die you can run back and go and get your stuff. That's completely the opposite to a claw max hit. In order to hit a claw max hit, you need to be in max strength, and obviously this comes with high reward. High risk equals high reward. So to achieve the claw max hit, you need to be in like full bandos, B-ring, fire cape, you know, all the lovelies. Okay, so now comparing Dragon Claws to Dragon Dagger. So both have the same 60 attack requirement. However, the spec that it takes up, i.e. 25% to 50, so you can do 4 Dragon Dagger specs in the time that you can do 2 claw specs. Okay, so firstly, we worked out that DDS has a higher max hit, which is 84 even, sorry. And claws obviously is lower than Dragon Dagger. Also, for the Dragon Dagger to hit a max, the second hit that it'll be hitting, the 42, cannot be P-necked. So the only way you're going to get out of that is spam eating, and surviving a 42-42 is just not going to happen unless you obviously safe to over 84, which is not going to happen. With claws, you can go very low HP, time your eats perfectly, equip your P-neck, and still survive. Okay, so in conclusion, D-claws, same requirements as most of the higher tier weapons at the moment, more special attack being used, and a lower max hit. Yeah, I'm just interested in what you guys would think. If there was to be a poll released tomorrow that said, would you like claws in the game? Would you vote yes or no? Leave your opinions down below and I'll be more than happy to read them and get back to you. Thanks for watching the video. Please do not write yes or no before you read what I say, because you know, doing an argument without reading one opinion is just invalid. So I know this video has been reasonably long, but you know, open something up, listen while you do something else. And then leave your comment and I'll try and get back to you. Just in case you leave a comment and I've already answered it, I will try not to answer one of them. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a few days for a new video.